Hawk sports fans, welcome back to the channel. You guys are never going to hear me stop talking about this. We have the new setup. We're not doing any more Zoom interviews anymore. That shit's boring as hell. We got StreamYard tonight. What a better way to kick off another awesome interview with our boy Joseph Morales. Tough 33 season winner, flyweight champion, got the job done at 319 tonight. The odds makers were just being disrespectful to my boy. They put him at plus 5 going into this fight from the first bell. As soon as the fight started, consistently going forward, putting the pressure on him, absolutely killing his body. I believe you had at one point maybe like 4 or 5 strikes in a row in the first round to his body with your kicks and your fist, obviously. And from there, man, you were able to take us back in the first round to end it. And then second round, you had your way. You got the submission. So thank you so much for joining us today, brother. I know absolutely.
No, of course.
I bet everybody's been hitting you up. So thank you so much for joining
Yeah.
us.
No, of
Appreciate
course,
you,
man.
bro.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here. Happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, man. Well, I always start off with this question, especially after the week you just had and weekend you just had. How are you currently doing, and how is your family doing?
Family's doing good. Excited to be home and just enjoying, some time off from working out, but just right back to work coaching and helping everybody in their journeys. But, I'm doing good.
Absolutely, man. I love to hear that. He just came from his son's wrestling practice too. So this guy's constantly in the gym, whether he's working or he's helping somebody else do that. So
Yeah.
love to hear that. But I got to ask you now. We've talked a little bit about him off camera, but I just want to ask you what your relationship is like with Max Griffin because he's also one of my good friends. Um, yeah, I have to ask because he took the picture, or I took the picture of you at the arena the other
Uh-huh.
night after you got the dub, and then Max tried to hurry up and take the photo and post it on Instagram and not. Max, we're got to talk about that one, but what's your relationship like with him? Because he's such a good friend to me.
Max has always been a good dude with me. We were kind of growing up in the regional scene, and I was really young at the time, and so we were kind of always climbing the ranks at the same time. And he got to the UFC, and he cross trains with a lot of our teammates here, so I always see him, and he's always a good dude. We're not like super close or hang out or anything like that, but every time we see him, we strike up conversation, and I've always got along with him. He's a good dude.
That's awesome, man. I love to hear that. I feel like just kind of talking to you for a few minutes and knowing the way Max is, I could definitely see you guys getting along for sure. So that's really dope. I had to come on and ask about that though. But
Yeah.
just to kind of rewind a little bit, talk about your week in Chicago. I just want to ask, how was your week there leading up to the fight? Was there anything in particular that you really enjoyed about Chicago? And was there anything that you were like, I don't know if I'd like to come back here after saying that?
Dude, Chicago was amazing. The people are super hospitable. Everybody was super nice and welcoming. Definitely got the Midwest vibes. But it was cool to see the city. The city was beautiful. Buildings were beautiful. Some of the best food I ever had in my entire life was out there in Chicago. I feel like the only thing was the weather was super shaky and crazy. One
Yes.
minute it's super sunny, and the next minute there's lightning and it's pouring rain, and you can't walk outside. And but every city's got their pros and their cons. But Chicago is definitely a beautiful place, amazing people, and definitely great food.
That's awesome. I love to hear that. And I'm so glad you said the diss on Chicago that you just did because I ended up having an hour drive to the hotel after the event due to the storm. So I'm
Yeah.
very glad that somebody pointed out the weather besides me, bro, because I feel you on that. It was such a beautiful day leading up to the fight. Everybody's waiting outside the arena to get in. Sunny day. You walk out and you think you're in a hurricane. I mean, that's welcome
Yeah.
to the Midwest. Welcome to the Midwest. Not as nice as Sacramento is, but welcome to the Midwest. So I did have to ask that, but it sounds like you did enjoy your time. I'm glad you got to enjoy the Chicago food. That's obviously a very popular thing among
Yeah.
people that go to Chicago a whole lot. So I'm glad you got to enjoy that, even with you having such a huge event, obviously on Saturday night. So that's dope, bro.
Yeah,
Love that for you.
shout out to Al's Italian beef sandwich. That was the best Italian beef sandwich I've ever had. And then their Chicago dog, and I wouldn't want a hot dog any other way. The Chicago style is definitely definitely the number one style hot dog right there.
For sure. And I'm definitely going to hit that up now. So the next time I go back to Chicago, I'm going to look back at this video and see what you said. It was Al's, you said, correct?
Al's, yeah, Al's beef.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hell yeah. All right. I'm going to hit them up next time just because you said that now. So I love that, bro. Love that everybody goes there and they talk about the pizza, but I'm glad you got to go to a good sandwich place, dude. That's dope.
Yeah, I didn't get any pizza, but
Oh, no.
I didn't get any pizza. That was the only crappy part. But I did get some good Italian food, and I got to enjoy some pasta and some chicken parm, and it was amazing. Food was the best.
Let's go, bro. Let's go. Got the W and got to eat some good food afterwards. That's what we like to hear. So now I kind of want to talk a little bit about the fight. Obviously, you've had some huge fights in your career. You've been in UFC before, but this is your second chance at it. You've worked so hard to get here. Everybody that's been watching the Ultimate Fight knows how great of a story you have. So I just wanted to ask you a little bit about the fight now. Did you and your team know that there potentially be an opening going into the fight with triangle choke, or is that just something that you guys were able to adapt on the fly and see in the octagon on Saturday? Or is that something that you just kind of saw as an opening after being there in the first round?
Um, the triangle choke is just something I'm super fucking good at, dude. I've done it a million times. I started doing jiu-jitsu when I was 9, 10 years old. And, it's just something I practice over and over. It's pretty funny is like I teach the kids class, and for like the last 3 weeks, the only thing that I was teaching them was how to do a triangle choke. So, it's just unironically, like, that's just, how it happened. One of my kids was like, hey, that's the movie you showed us last week or before you left. Like, we were just working triangle chokes. And I'm like, I'm trying to tell you, like, it worked.
Let's
But
go.
yeah, like it wasn't anything like particular like that I was looking for or anything like that. But I set it up, and I took advantage. He was a little bit tired in that second round, and like I said, there was an interview where they asked me like, how did he feel, or like what did you do, or and usually when you're on somebody's back and you slide off, that's their opportunity to start punching you or start hitting you. And he didn't do that. He rested, and I took that as my opportunity to try to throw something up and finish the fight.
Awesome, man. I love that. And that is so cool. I mean, what a better way as a coach to not only tell their students, this is a great way to get wins in fights and show them a technique like that, because you do have to master that, especially at the UFC level, to be able to finish somebody. But I mean, you can't do it any better than that, bro. Like, that's a dream scenario for you. You're teaching your students that
Yeah.
for 3 weeks, and then you go on arguably the biggest pay-per-view of the year and then go and do that against a guy
Yeah.
who were plus 500 odds. I mean, that's something I was watching. I didn't bet on the fight. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you. I didn't bet on it, but like I looked at it and I was like, dude, like Joseph's not plus 500. Like, that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I think people in the buildup that kept up the tough was like, that's just way too big of a gap, man. So credit to you. But I do want to kind of talk about something you did just mention. I think you did mention him being tired. Do you think that the body shots in the first round and your pressure going forward really led to him kind of slowing down a bit? Just wanted to kind of ask you to walk us through the fight, basically from like the first click of the bell to whenever you made him tap out eventually.
So Alibi he's a great fighter. He's super strong. He's got great cardio, and he's very dangerous. And then usually like that first exchange, I just wanted to come out and kind of fill him out, and just not give him the chance to think and give him the chance to capitalize on anything or set anything up. I always knew, like, from the show, and you watch him fight and you do your evaluations together and stuff like that. But I knew he was a tough opponent. I wasn't taking him lightly. I knew he was dangerous. Obviously, anybody could get knocked out with the spinning elbow, as we seen that night. Um,
Yeah.
so like he's dangerous. He throws spinning shit. He throws spinning kicks. But after the first exchange with punches, I kind of felt his punching power, and I realized, well, like, if he's punching me, he's not that dangerous. So I could kind of stay in that range and just kind of predict when he's gonna spin, and just be aware and stay in good position so he's not hitting me with any jumping knees or any knees on the break or any spinning elbows on the break or anything like that. But just going in there, I wanted to put the pace on him right away, and he covers, he shells up, and his body's exposed. And I honestly, I feel like I'm one of the strongest punchers, and I love hitting to the body. I got, that Mexican style boxing. I'm always looking for a liver shot. I'm always looking for a solar plex shot. And so that was already like a big thing in the game plan, was like, hey, we're just going to expose his body if he's showing up. And then once he starts, getting hit with the body, we start opening up to the shots to the head. And I landed a good punch. He slipped, I don't know if he slipped or if I dropped him, but I got him on the floor and was able to capitalize and, attack his back and get the submission.
That's awesome. And I think something that you just mentioned, I think I remember now, correct me if I'm wrong, I think you might have thrown a spinning elbow back at him in the second round. Did you not?
There was so there was a point where we were clinched up, and I had his arm trapped, and I spun out and I hit him with the spinning elbow in the back. You can't really see it on camera. You could see me spin, but I don't know. They didn't show any of it landing. So, but I'd like to take credit that I landed a spinning elbow on him. But
I think we can expose that, because I'm almost positive. I was watching the fight back, obviously, with you coming back on and it being such one of the bigger fights of the night, to be honest with you. I mean, obviously, you had Lerone and Carlos' spinning elbows, and that got a lot of attention. But your win was also very important on the card. When I was going back and looking at it, I actually do have footage of that spinning elbow landing. Like, I think I had a pretty good angle where you could see it too. So we can go ahead and expose that to everybody that did land too.
Yeah,
so we can go ahead and put that footage out there too. I'll send that to you after this interview. But I thought that was hilarious whenever you threw that, because obviously, like you said, like, people that have watched him, he likes to throw crazy shit, spinning elbows and stuff like that. So I just thought that was fun second round whenever you did that back at him, and it did land.
Yeah, and we were aware of all the spinning shit and how dangerous he was, and it was like, my coach was saying, like, hey, it's hard to throw all of that stuff when you are on your back foot the whole time. So stay in his face, keep moving your head, and just just put the pressure on him, and it ended up breaking him.
That's awesome, man. Sounds like you and the boys in the corner had a perfect game plan, and it was well executed. So credit to you on that, man. I'm really, really happy for you, watching your journey and everything. That's awesome. But
thank you.
Now I kind of want to get to the end of the fight. What did it mean when Bruce grabbed the mic and announced you as the champ? And then what did it mean for Dana to walk over to you and you feel? What was kind of the emotions or feelings going through your mind at that point? Because I know it took a while to get back there for that moment.
Yeah. So, it's been a long 8 years since I was in the UFC. My kid was 3 months old when I made my debut, and now he's 8 years old. And, he's going to wrestling practice. He's going to jiu-jitsu practice. He's got a jiu-jitsu competition September 6th. So it's like, little things I think about like that. Like, leading up to the fight, I had a lot of small victories, that just, outside in life that, I feel like are a bigger part of, the main victory. And so, like another one was like, I got to have my wife, my kid, and my mom in the show. And, it's the first time that I ever had family be able to go to the fights, and to even just be able to afford them to go to the fights was like a huge deal for me. So like, those types of things, like having such a huge support system back home, at the gym that I teach at the college that I teach at, and, my teammates who believed in me. And so like those little things leading up to it, and then having, you visualize it, and it just felt like my spirit was catching up, or my body was catching up to my spirit. Like I had already visualized those things so hard and felt those emotions that my body finally got to catch up, and also celebrate the 2 wins that I had on the show, because like I'm keeping that mindset of like, hey, like, yeah, I won those 2 fights. Yes, I'm in the finale, but I do not have a guaranteed contract to be on the show. And having been already in the UFC, like my chances of getting signed if I lost go down tremendously. So, I was fighting with that chip on my shoulder, and I was able to kind of finally celebrate and just be happy about my success on the show.
That's really cool too, and I'm glad you just brought that up, because I meant to bring that up at the top of the show. Your family was actually the section over for me, so that was so cool. I already talked to you about this. I just wanted to tell the people that are going to watch this, like, looking over after You get the sub, he taps out, and then looking over at them to my left, like that was just so like such a cool thing because you could see that everything came together for you and the family at that moment. And I also thought that was really cool. Like they were right there in the tunnel that you exited in, and you were able to look up at them and stuff like that. So I thought that was like perfect moment, bro. So it was really cool to see that. I had to throw that in there because, like you said, like that event alone was not cheap. I was in the same area as them, so I could probably guess what the price was for all those tickets. But yeah, that shit was definitely not cheap, bro. So credit to you and credit to them for being able to pull up for that. That was such a cool moment, man. And it paid off for everybody. So,
yes.
But now I kind of want to go a little bit away from the fight and just kind of talk to you about life and, maybe some advice, especially with the journey you've had. What advice would you give to guys that are going to come on the Ultimate Fighter in the future and current Dana White Contender Series guys? Because obviously the Ultimate Fighter is a little bit different from the Contender Series. You have like a whole season with Tough and everything like that. You do the Contender Series as well, but it's one fight in the Contender Series compared to quarterfinal, semifinal, championship for Tough. But is there any advice that you would give to a guy that is maybe going to fight for the first time on the Contender Series, or somebody that has went through your journey where they get on Tough, they lost, but now they're going to potentially come back? Do you have any words of wisdom or anything in particular you want to say to those guys?
Yeah, like I think one of the biggest things, like from losing, I lost to Davison Figueroa, and then I lost a close split decision to Eric Shelton, and in my career, and then got cut. So the journey's never over, and just separate yourself from fighting, and just you get to fight. Like you don't have to fight, you don't need to fight, you get to fight, you get to do this. Like this is your part of you, it's not who you are. So not to be able to take the loss and to be able to learn from it and to continue, just being successful in other things. Like, yes, a loss doesn't feel like a win at all, but you're still succeeding at something. You still got to do your dream. So it doesn't mean that you're far from it, and you're actually living it. I think that's the biggest thing that I could give, is just live your dream, even though it feels a little bit shitty if you lose.
For sure, man. And it's definitely it's never easy in life to, lose something or something not go your way whenever you've put in all the time. But I feel like mixed martial arts, especially at the level that you're at, if you do lose, it's a little bit worse. A coworker being mean to you at work one day, or somebody cutting you off on the road, pissing you off. Like for you guys, that's a lot more monumental, I feel like. So I feel like that was an awesome message that you just delivered right there. And I completely agree with what you're saying. Even though I'm not at that level, I don't even fight. But what you just said, I feel like is completely 100% how it goes, man. So that was a beautiful message. I think everybody that's watching that will definitely appreciate it, whether they're at the amateur level, coming up on the regional scene, or they are a pro fighter if they are tuned into this. So that's dope, man. Really appreciate that. But now I'm not going to let fighters come on here and we're just going to talk MMA the whole time. We're going to have some fun questions. We're not going to be a boring MMA reporter that are at these press conferences asking bullshit questions the whole time. We're going to have. So, Joseph, my first fun question I have for you tonight is, would you rather fight against 10 angry squirrels or one kangaroo, and why?
10 angry squirrels.
Why would you pick them?
Because I could actually grab one, like, in my hand, and I could grab two at a time. So, like, if I could get two off of me at a time, it'd be a lot easier than fighting one big ass kangaroo.
Yeah, kangaroos are dangerous with kicks too. I feel like if you get kicked by a kangaroo, that's going to be like getting kicked by a dude in the UFC, maybe even potentially worse.
Maybe worse. Yeah.
So I don't think a squirrel can take you down. They might try to like bite you or some shit like that if you have like an acorn in your hand or something. But kangaroos are dangerous, bro. Like they'll kill your pet in Australia if they're just hanging around. Like we've seen the video. So I think I might have to
with a kangaroo.
Yeah, I think I might have to side with you on that one. I think I'm team angry squirrels right there. So I think that's good insight what you just said. My next one would be, I know you got a lot of guys in your gym, a lot of guys that you seem like you were cool with. What teammate would you not let cover you? Why?
Not let what?
not let cook for you. Like every other fighter gets to come over and make a meal for you. This guy, like he
Arshan,
can't.
Arshan Memon, Arshan
Why would you
Memon.
not let him cook for you?
So he cooked. We watched him cook on the show on The Ultimate Fighter, and he was a terrible cook. Terrible, absolutely terrible. No health and safety. He didn't wash his hands. He
Oh, that's
didn't know how to cook a meal, and we were just we were watching him and trying to help him out as much as possible. There was a lot of times where we were cooking for him because we were scared he would get sick
yeah.
from just like how he was cooking and washing his meat and stuff like that. And so, yeah, Arshan, I love you, brother, but I would never ever let you cook for me. Yeah, not at all.
Definitely what you just said though, like that's a valid answer, bro. Like you're not gonna wash your hands, you're not gonna go through safety protocols. Like you guys are fighters, bro. So you have to pay attention to what you're eating, especially, with the Ultimate Fighter too. Like you guys are so strict on time. You might fight, X amount of times in this many weeks. So, you're not
Yeah.
fighting once or twice a year. You're on tough, bro. So
Yeah, no,
definitely got a
I watched him try to defrost the meat in water and then throw the frozen meat right onto the pan, and I was just like, dude, throw the meat away. I have meat for you. I will cook for you. Don't worry about it. I just cannot let you eat that nasty meat and possibly get food poisoning or possibly make everybody else sick from throwing a bunch of frozen meat water all over the place.
Hell yeah, bro. That's being a good teammate inside and outside the octagon right there, though. That's a good assist, man. If you're playing basketball, that's a hell of an assist. That's getting the assist of the night right there. Credit to you for going out of your way to still cook and, clutch through everybody else. Because if one person gets sick in that house from food, then the toilet's probably going to rack up overnight. So we
Yeah,
can't, we can't.
yeah.
That's funny, bro. Love that. Love that answer. Valid reasons right there. But Joseph, I have gotten to the final bell. This is a new segment I implemented on the channel right here. We got 5
Okay.
rapid fire questions. You have to answer this or that. Which one you like more, all right?
All right,
So
let's do it.
my first one would be video games or movies.
Video games.
Hell yeah, I'm with you on that all day. Fuck movies, bro. I'm gonna get on the sticks or keyboard, whatever you play with all night.
Yeah.
Do you play video what video games do you play?
I play a little bit of UFC, play some Madden. The new Battlefield game was pretty sick. I got to play the beta a little bit before the fight week.
Hey,
I play Warzone. I play Warzone a lot. Play Warzone a lot. Uh,
let's
but
go,
yeah,
bro.
so I
Hell
like the
yeah.
first person shooters. Those are probably my favorites.
For sure, man. I used to grind Call of Duty, but dude, I'd rage quit so much, and now I'm just like out of the game. Now, so I just can't keep up with these guys that are gonna sit, play for like 5 or 6 hours a day. I unfortunately don't have the time, but I'm with you on that. I love first person shooter games, so I'm glad I got that in common. I'm glad I asked that question, for sure, bro.
Yep.
What is? I guess you might have just answered this, Joseph, but do you have a favorite sport outside of MMA?
Football, NFL.
Okay, I figured with the Madden answer right there, I figured that's what it was. Why
Yep.
why is it football?
So I grew up in a small town called Clovis, California, and at the time their sports are wrestling and football. That's it. That's all they do. That's like their best sports. So I grew up in a football family. We were huge Raiders fans growing up. So like yeah, so like we I was watching the Raiders when they were good in 2000, 2001, 1999. Like I saw them go to the Super Bowl and get shit on, but I went through the rough parts. I grew up watching Tim Brown, and I wanted to be a wide receiver growing up. And I kind of learned the hard way in middle school that I wasn't cut out for football because of how small I was.
Oh, come on. You were fast as shit, though, man. It was
Yeah.
one of those things, you get caught, you might get rocked, but they're gonna have a hard time catching you. But that's cool though.
Yeah.
I didn't know you're a Raiders fan. I tried to do some research on that. I'm never gonna let a fighter come on here and me not do my research on them. But that's
Yep.
cool that you're a Raiders fan. Raiders are like they have some of the best fans in all of professional sports. I feel like, man. Like even you just said, like the Raiders have been a little down lately, but their fans. I mean, it doesn't matter where they're playing at in the country. There will be Raiders fans in the stadium
Oh
for
yeah.
sure.
100%.
They
I
get
went. I went to. I went to so many games when they were, when the tickets were cheap because of how bad the season was.
yeah. That's hilarious, bro. I love that, bro. So I'm glad we got to talk about that because I'm a guy. I'm gonna sit on my ass on Sundays and watch the NFL.
Yes,
No
sir. I'll be doing
UFC.
the same thing after all my training. I'm doing the same thing.
Let's go. Are you a fantasy football guy? I guess this is my last question on that little because it's supposed to be rapid fire, but I have to ask now because I'm a football guy too.
So I did it for a few years, and I could not relax and enjoy my Sundays, and so I stopped doing it. It was like like quitting smoking. So
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, I couldn't enjoy it no more. It was like bad for my health.
I feel that, man. It's one of those things where it doesn't matter what it is. If I'm in it, I'm all in, bro. If somebody's telling me or my team's causing me stress because I keep taking L's to my buddies and I don't want to do the punishment at the end of the league, it's like
Yep,
fuck this, man. It doesn't even make it fun no more, bro. It doesn't even
yep.
make
It's
it
worse
fun.
when there's a buy-in too.
And you're like, damn, there goes my $100 or
Yeah,
whatever else. You're like, what the fuck was I doing, man? Why did I think that my team would do good? Okay,
yep.
that's cool, man. The first question, rapid fire, we got similar, feelings there on football and then the video game. So that's dope, bro. That's good to know
Yeah.
you got that. But now my next one would be, what hurts worse, a shot to the body or a leg kick?
You know, a leg kick, shot to the body kind of goes away after a while. A leg kick, you're gonna be sore for a few weeks.
Yes, especially depending on where it's at too. If it's a low one and it
Yes.
catches you don't check it at all, I feel like
Yep.
I'm team leg kick all fucking day, man.
Yep.
All
Doesn't
day.
matter where it is on your leg. Calf kick, thigh kick, kick on your knee. It's gonna hurt. Even if you check it, you're gonna hit your shin, and yeah, it's gonna be sore for weeks. And the body shot hurts pretty bad. You can't move for a while. Feels like your life's ending, and then you're good after a few minutes.
There you go. There you go. I love that breakdown. I think I'm team leg kicks right there too, man. I can't fuck with that, bro. I can't at all. But my next one would be Joseph. If you could fight or if you could describe your fight style using one word, what would that one word be?
Scrappy.
I love that word. I love that word for you, man. Especially
Yeah.
the performance on Saturday night. You're not one dimensional at all. You can do it on the feet. You can pressure. You can put guys in bad positions, and you can do it on the ground. I love that. I love that.
Yep.
Scrappy. That's good right there. Shout out to StreamYard for making little clips. They better make a clip of that right there because I love that answer. That was
Yeah.
a good one to fill in there. The last one though, Joseph, for you would be: would you rather headline a fight night or open a pay per view card like you did at 319?
Mm. Having done one of them, I'd probably do the same. Obviously, headlining a fight night would probably be pretty amazing, and that also means you kind of enjoy that success and you're working your way up the ranks. But opening a pay-per-view is actually pretty nice because you could just get in, get out, and you get to enjoy the rest of the day, the rest of the night. Get to eat some good food, enjoy your time. So yeah, I would say the opening the pay-per-view is pretty nice.
And that's what I was gonna say with you going with the open the pay per view. I mean, you got in, you got out, and if you're in the right city, this isn't for every single city inside the UFC that have these fight nights or even pay per view events. If you go to the right city, there will be fans in the seats already, and it absolutely was in Chicago. I know
Yeah,
you heard
it was
the
very,
USA.
very full. Yeah, it was
It was
very full.
already so full. I've never seen a line like that in my life. That was my first pay per view event I've been to, but that was my sixth UFC event overall. Never seen a line like that in my life to get to an arena. So I think I'm going to side with you. If it's Chicago, where fans are going to show out, they're going to be there early, they're going to be loud, chanting USA. I'd love to just get in, get my W, and get out and get on with the night. So I'm kind of with you on
Yes,
that
sir.
one as well, right there, brother. Hell yeah. But Joseph, I have my final question. I always ask every single fighter this that they come on here. This in particular is a really good question for you and the spot you're in right now. What's the final message you got to the fans watching this video to continue to watch your journey inside the UFC now after winning the contract and getting signed, brother?
Fuck your parlay.
Facts, bro. Tell them, fuck the parlay, bro.
Yeah, fuck your parlay. Stop betting parlays. Just bet single fights. That's the best advice I can give you. Because I don't care. I don't care if I fucked up your parlay.
Thanks, bro. Let's go, baby. Let's go, man. If you didn't have him the other night at plus 500, you absolutely missed out. If you don't know what I'm talking about or Joseph's talking about right here, if you would have put $100 on Joseph the other night, you would have returned 600. You would have won 500 right there. Odds makers had it all fucked up. We talked about it earlier. I love that answer from you, though, Joseph. Can't wait to see you outside the UFC. Obviously, you said it's been a long 8 years since you got there. There's been a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. And I'm just happy for you, man, after watching your journey.
Thank you.
And we can't wait to see what's next going forward. Before I do let you go, going off that question I did ask, do you think that you'll be in the octagon again at the end of this year potentially, or do we probably need to be expecting to see you in early 2026?
I'd hope so. I would hope to, fight one more time. My kids need, Christmas presents, and my wife needs a nice gift for Christmas. So,
There we go.
I would like to. I'm going to talk to my managers and kind of just see what's next, what's the game plan, and whatever the UFC wants.
Awesome, man. We'd love to see you back in there. Whenever you do get a fight announced as well, you absolutely have an open book to come on here anytime. It was a great interview. It was a great chat. I'd love to get you back on here before your next fight, man. It'd be awesome to talk to you again. I really appreciate the time. Not everybody's going to be like Joseph, guys. I mean, he probably just had the biggest win of his career potentially, coming back from what's happened. And he's on here talking to me the Wednesday night after he just did that on Saturday. So, Joseph, thank you for not only coming on here tonight, after a long day today in the middle of the week, but after such a monumental event, that I really appreciate that. And you have the open book to come on here anytime, brother. Really appreciate that.
Man. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Joseph Bopo Morales, everybody. Catch him inside the octagon soon. And we'll see you guys next time on Hawk Sports. Appreciate you tuning in.